Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Judging with a Judge, my weekly show in which I will be reviewing books, programmes and films related to the paranormal. Whether that's fiction or facts, it doesn't really matter. If it's paranormal based, I review it and just, as I said, on the spot, no rehearsals, no practice, just talk about the subject of what I'm reviewing. Today it's going to be another book. I mean, obviously I reviewed a book last week. That was Russell Masters Phillips' So You Want to Be a Paranormal Investigator, which got my first rating, which is the Noose rating, which is a rating out of 5, and that got 5 nooses. I'll explain the nooses. That is because of the name Judge Jeffries. It's a nickname I had in one of my jobs, and he was, of course, the hanging judge. So I thought, why not go with nooses for the rating? The highest you get is a 5, and that book scored a 5, which was an excellent score for that book. Now, today's book I'm going to review is Killer Crabs by Guy Smith. Actually, I'm not. I'm winding you up. I will be reviewing that at some point. That is, I'm halfway through that, so I can't review. I haven't finished it. But the book I'm going to review is a factual one. I first got given a copy back in the late 90s by a friend I worked with from the North East. I'd never heard of this author or the person that wrote it, because obviously I was from West London, and this guy was massive up in the North East. He had a radio show, I think, called Night Owls, and he used to send people into haunted houses, and he'd finger ring them and stuff like that. And so a friend of mine at work knows into the paranormal and gave me a copy of this book, and I was blown away by it. The book is A Nightmare on Your Street by Alan Robson. Now, what it is basically he has compiled ghost stories from all around the country and put them to one volume. So this book's quite old. It's mid-90s, I believe, and he wrote them before it. My original copy I got given, I lost, and I was tracking down one, trying to track them for ages, and if I did find them online, they were really expensive. And I found this one this year, reasonably priced, so I brought it again, and it's in brilliant nick. It literally probably only been read once before I got my hands on it, and I've read it a couple of times since. And so what it is he's compiled ghostly stories, right, as I said, grisly trails and ghostly tales from around the country and different regions, and it tells the goriest, most graphic versions that he can. As I said, so many stories in here. I mean, it starts off, I'll just go through some of the regions he covers. Starts off in the Northumberland, Tynemere, Durham. So they've got a lot of mates and friends up in the North East or from the North East. So they know a lot about these. Northern England to the Midlands. Covers the South East, West Central, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, South West. And I mean, I've used this for reference. I mean, the first thing in it is the Dirty Bottles of Alnwick, which is about some bottles in the window, which is said to be cursed if you touch your diner board out in the window, but they're still there. And I've used that on the group ESN. I've wrote a short version for a Myths and Legends post. But I said, doesn't hold back. It goes to the goriest versions imaginable. There's one in here that I remember vividly reading where someone's skinned alive in a salt tower and dropped into the vat of salt. There you go. Taunton Fiddler. Minehead's Whistling Widow. See, Widow Leakey. She whistles. There's one in here as well in Lyme Regis, which is the guy that was hung and he survived, and he's ghostly seen now to this day with the neck swinging from side to side where he broke his neck. There's a Flasher from Bath. Brilliant. I said, great stories. One about the Oxford lepers. Well worth reading. Get yourself a copy of this one. I said I still read it to this day, so it's good reference as well for us we run a paranormal group. So lots of places I'd like to go and investigate. And as far as I know, that Alan Robson is still going strong and still presenting this show. I think it's on Metro Radio. If I got that wrong, one of my friends from that part of the world will correct me, I'm sure. So Metro still does it, and recently run a competition people staying chilling in the castle again, which is, I still remember seeing a programme he done on ITV, I believe, where he had people go to chill in the castle. Can't remember the name of the programme for the life of me, but it was getting really good. But for, as I said, quite loads of stuff in there. There's over 150 tales in there of stuff. The Bloody Monk of Exeter. Absolutely awesome. And some of the stories are really entertaining as well. I mean, the way they're told and the way he's described them, they're told like reading a horror novel, and which is absolutely brilliant for ghost stories. Because it's not just there was a ghost, it was in a room. It goes into detail of how the people were killed and what they look like. The Lime Street Beetle Eater, about someone that used to eat beetles and still haunts with pockets for the beetles in his pockets. I mean, there's some of the stuff in Dorset as well, where I'm from now. Well, originally from West London, and it's got about Lawrence Arabia's motorcycle. Now, a lot of people around here know the legend. If you're up near Clouds Hill, where he lived, some nights you will hear, I think it's a Bow Superior or Brough Superior motorcycle come from nowhere, and you won't actually see it, and it's meant to be Lawrence still riding a lanes around wall. It's in this book. So, for A Nightmare on Your Street by Alan Robson, I again am going to award this, as only one score I can award it, and that's 5 nooses out of 5. Highly recommended. Get yourself a copy online. I said it can be quite pricey online to find a copy, because I believe it's out, maybe out of print now, or borrow a copy. And I think it may be available on Kindle as well. I've not actually checked on Kindle, but I like books like this. I like to have in solid paper, like the paper form, because I just like reading through them. But yeah, 5 nooses out of 5. Absolutely brilliant. Great author. I've probably reviewed more of his stuff at some point in the future as well. Go out and get yourself a copy. As I said, next time round I will probably be reviewing a programme. Not sure which one yet, but you will know when it comes up. But for now, 5 nooses, go out there, get yourself a copy, borrow a copy, read it. You'll love it. Highly, highly recommended from the judge. So take care, people, and I will see you all again next week.